Long ago, in a fierce and frosty land, there lived a small and lonely Viking, and his name was Hiccup. Vikings were enormous roaring burglars with bristling moustaches who sailed all over the world and took whatever they wanted. Hiccup was tiny and thoughtful and polite. The other Viking children wouldn't let him join in their rough Viking games. Hiccup was frightened of spiders, he was frightened of thunder, he was frightened of sudden, loud noises. But most of all, he was frightened of going to sea for the very first time, next Tuesday. Hiccup wasn't sure he was a Viking at all. Hiccup's father was Stoic the Vast. Wherever Stoic walked, the ground trembled, flowers wilted, and bunnies fainted. He hadn't brushed his beard in 30 years.
"Only girlies brush their beards,"
boomed Stoic the Vast. Girlies don't have beards, Hiccup pointed out. But no one listened to him. And when Hiccup told his father he was frightened of going to sea, Stoic laughed his enormous Viking laugh until salty tears ran down to his enormous hairy feet.
"You can't be frightened, little Hiccup. Vikings don't get frightened."
And he sang the Viking song.
"I have blacked the 1,000 eyes of 1,000 angry gales. Watch me knock the cockles off the biggest, bluest whales. I have given Morris nightmares who thought that they were strong. I marooned a huge typhoon on an island off Hong Kong. Oh, ancient prawny greenness, the never-ending sea. Mess with squirmy jellyfish, but do not mess with me."
He patted Hiccup on the head and went off to do 300 push-ups before breakfast. Ooh, thought Hiccup. It all sounds very dangerous. So Hiccup went to see the oldest Viking of all, old Wrinkly himself, whose barnacle beard fell down to his toes. "Your saltiness," he whispered, for Hiccup had beautiful manners. "Do Vikings ever get frightened?" "Little grandson," wheezed old Wrinkly, and his breath was like being kissed by mackerel. "I've been wondering about the answer to that question myself. The sea is full of trials and terrors, but it is also full of marvels and miracles. Go to sea, and you can tell me if Vikings ever get frightened." So, at 9:15 on a breezy Tuesday, Hiccup went to sea for the very first time. At 9:30, Hiccup was wishing he hadn't eaten those 2 smallish haddock for breakfast. At 9:45, he was feeling very peculiar indeed. And at 10:30, he wished he was dead. "I feel seasick," he said to his father.
"Vikings don't get seasick," said Stoic the Vast.
But this one was all over Stoic's feet. Hiccup got sicker and sicker, and the storm got wilder and wilder. Stoic the Vast sang the Viking song at the storm, but the storm took no notice. A great wave came up and soaked him. One mighty wave picked up that whole Viking ship as if it were a matchstick and threw it 50 miles to the south. And one mighty blast from the gale picked up that whole Viking ship as if it were a piece of seaweed and threw it 50 miles to the west. And a terrible black wind went shrieking all over the lonely ocean and turned that Viking ship upside down and inside out and went shivering down.